What is up, guys? John Collins with Risen Holster Co. And today we are going to be looking into how we make holsters. I think I've got a couple of videos up, little bits and pieces here and there, and some stuff on some of the process of how we go about making holsters here. But I wanted to make one that had a little bit more of a description, kind of walkthrough. So I've got some video footage I'm going to roll from making this guy today. This is a holster for one of our customers. It's our Ninja appendix inside the waistband with a discrete carry concepts monoblock, sorry, and our newer claw style. And this is for the XMacro TLR-7 SUB setup, using a blue gun to keep YouTube happy. But we also do form or fold our molds over top of these blue guns here. So we pad this out to make sure the specs are the same as the OEM for the gun that we're using. And then final step in the process, we do take the real gun and set all of the retention to that. Also using the actual light as well, so that we can maintain all of the correct specs. But in case anybody asks or is curious why this is blue and not a real one, is just keeping YouTube happy. But it is also used in the process. You'll see it later in the video as we fold the holster shell over onto it. But we do also check at the end to make sure that everything's right with the real guns. So anyway, there it is, and here's the footage. Alrighty, so here we are over at the assembly mock-up section of the shop. Here is our vacuum form mold. You can see up there at the top, XMacro TLR-7 SUB. And here are our blocking pieces. A little bit of movie magic, and boom, they are now taped onto our mold. So from here, we're going to move over to our vacuum table. Put down our vacuum forming material. It kind of gives it a gap underneath the mold so the air can get pulled through it. Set our mold in place. Back over another 2 foot in the shop to our heat press. So sheet material goes in. Not sure the exact material or time settings there, but heat that stuff up until it becomes pliable. And then now we're going to stick it back over top of our mold. Get everything lined up perfectly. Take our vacuum forming frame, press down, and pull our vacuum. This is our time while the material is still a little bit warm to make any adjustments we need to. This particular mold, I find I need to press down into that retention point just a little extra, and then make sure all of our blocking pieces are in there squared up. And we're going to take some air and cool everything off. At this point, we're over top of the trash can here, taking our drill bit, drilling out all of the holes for those blocking pieces that we put in earlier. A absolutely horrendous camera angle here. I have to make sure to fix that next time I film a video like this. But we're learning. Bear with me. But yeah, go through, drill all these holes out. So the holes I'm drilling now are for if the customer ever wants to add a tuckable clip down the road. Of the holes for that, and then those holes up the top are for the monoblock mounts. Can't see them from here, but I'm now drilling out the retention holes. Go on either side of the holster. I ended up cutting out a decent part, but the next section I'm doing here is taking out my countersink bit and countersinking all of those holes, both the front and the back, and gets off any of the excess material that might be on there, and just gives a nice clean, well rounded off hole. Now we're over here at the bandsaw. So I have not completely gotten into trim jigs yet, so instead of that we are just cutting off the material by the old school method, free trim jig. I'm just going to knock off all the excess here to get it down to smaller amount of material we can work with to bend over top of our little forming drone, which you will see here in a second. Get off the perimeter section there. Now we will go back and cut out for our arm arc. All right, and now from there we can move over to our heat strip. Boom, we're here. I sped this up quite a bit just because the heat strip can take a couple of minutes before it actually bends it. So what you're seeing is happening 4 times faster than what had happened in real life. But once it starts to become pliable, flex back and forth a few times, make sure it is soft enough that we don't stress the plastic when we push it over, and then stick it on the blue gun. Again, that metal tape on that blue gun ensures that when I do this, that this maintains the correct amount of space to fit the OEM specs, plus a little tiny bit of extra space in case the customer has a Cerakoted or some other type of coating on their slide. It gives them a little extra space there. And then from there, stick it underneath of a fan to kind of help off with the cooling process, cooling everything off better. So that'll sit there for a few seconds, and then head back over to the assembly table. And what I'm doing now is just taking the blue gun and a marking pencil, which you see right here. It's actually just a standard white fabric pencil. And I'm going to trace out a little closer to what the final shape of our holster is going to be. So make sure we have clearance around the trigger guard area, connecting the back of the sweat shield, and then using a mod wing base. I like to use these because the bottom 2 holes are cut. Whether you want a mod wing or not, you can have the option of adding one in the future, but tracing out with that mod wing there, make sure that the Kydex just follows the lines, makes it look cleaner in the end. And then back over at the bandsaw. Run this through that perimeter there. Get this thing cut out to what more or less will be its final shape. Little helpful tip for anybody that is doing this themselves. The bandsaw blades I'm using are the 1/8 inch thick blades. They're thin enough that it allows you to use it more or less like a scroll saw, get all those tight radiuses. Now we're over here at the belt sander, going to flatten out all of the flat edges of the holster just to get everything kind of squared up. Saves a lot of time on the Dremel tool, the buffing wheel that you'll see later on here in a second. This just makes sure that the end of the muzzle is square, sight channel end is square, the edges of the holster are flat with each other. Over to the Dremel tool, I'm just going to go through and clean up any of the radiuses and any of the cuts that the bandsaw didn't get perfectly square. And then, as you see I'm doing right now, just any of the hard corners or edges of the holster, go ahead and give them a decent bit of a round off before we take it over to the buff. So for the buffing process, start off buffing the inside edge of the holster. So this will be the spot, or the part of the holster that is against the firearm you're carrying. Do this first just because it kind of will roll over a little bit into the outside edge. So we go back and do that outside edge second. Now this is the spot that is sitting up against your body. So definitely want to make sure all of these edges are as smooth as possible. Any hard corners are completely rounded off. So that the spot of the holster, or part of the holster that is up against your body, is the absolute most comfortable that we can make it. So finish this part up here, and then make our way back over to the assembly table here in a second. Get this thing put together. Alright, so back over at the assembly table, little bit of the magic and the claw and retention hardware are on. And then the discrete carry concepts monoblock, and boom, it is on. So now we have our completed holster. Alright, so here we are with our finished product. As you all saw at the very beginning of the video, we're going to get this guy wrapped up, packaged up, and sent out to the customer. Thank you for whoever it was that ordered this. We do appreciate all of the support for our business. And we'll be looking to do a handful of these different videos in the future. Kind of go through some of our other styles of holster, different cool color combos as they come along, or maybe just some of the weird gun-like combos that we come across. Hope you all enjoy. Give us a like and a subscribe. And again, appreciate the support, guys.